Welcome to Biohacking for the Executive Athlete, where high performance meets deep recovery and ambition is powered by coherence. I'm your host, Nicole Ward, Senior Vice President of Sales at Aon, board-certified health and nutrition coach, wellness geek, biohacker, and founder of the Sales Athlete platform. On this show, I get to sit down with executives and entrepreneurs and thought leaders who are redefining what it means to succeed at the highest levels, not just in business, but in health, resilience, and life. Today, we have the exciting opportunity to speak with the CEO of Sensate, Anna Gudmundson. Anna Gudmundson is the CEO of Sensate, a pioneering wellness technology company that's transforming how we approach stress, resilience, and nervous system regulation. Sensate's patented infrasound resonance technology uses sound and vibration to calm the nervous system, making cutting-edge science accessible in a simple, elegant device. With over 20 years of experience in technology, health, and leadership, Anna has built a reputation for guiding innovative companies from early-stage vision to global scale. Before Sensate, she held executive roles in technology and mobile industries, where she spearheaded international growth and product development. Today, she leads Sensate's mission to help millions of people reduce stress and improve well-being in a world that's more demanding than ever. Anna is passionate about bridging science, business, and human potential, making her a perfect fit for the executive athlete community. Her journey combines entrepreneurial grit, executive leadership, and a deep commitment to human performance and wellness. Anna, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm very excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, of course, we got to start with your origin story. And I'd love for you, if you could, to walk us through how your early interests in mathematics, physics, and technology led you to co-found Sensate, which obviously, as we said, is a wellness tech company that's really grounded in this innovation and amazing purpose. Can you give us your backstory?
Yeah, sure. The mysteries of the career path, right?
Yes.
I've also lived in multiple countries and ended up in the US finally. So I started in technology and I really spent my entire career in various technology fields. And on the side, I think I've been very interested in the kind of software of humans, like how do we actually function, and seeing any pattern in myself as something that is possible to change. So I've both been very motivated by understanding humans in general, which probably led me to be quite good in the product space because you have a curiosity about behaviors and how we function, but also very much applied to myself. And then when I've had the opportunity to work in industries that have really transformed society at its fabric, like the mobile industry. When I started in the mobile industry, people were still saying they did not believe that it was going to be a big thing. Like, no one's going to want to do things on a small screen.
Yeah. Right.
And similarly, early in social media tech, where that looked like it was just going to connect people and whatnot. So I could really see how technology was transforming humans, our nervous system, and society as a whole. And then at the same time, realizing that there's an opportunity to use that power for really positive impact and positive change. And that, together with my incredible interest in psychology and behaviors and personal development and all of that, led me to be introduced to my co-founder, Stefan Chmelik, by 4 different people that told him, you should try to speak with Anna Gudmundson.
Wow. Meant to be, right?
Meant to be. And I think I was quite vocal on, I was in London at the time on the London tech scene. And initially, I was just curious, and it was really about 2 megatrends. So one, in the health space, that we're shifting towards understanding how important the mental and emotional side is, that we've kind of gone through a few hundred years where we're really just focused on the physical body and very much as separated parts. To understanding how everything hangs together and how our mind, our emotions, all of that are directly related to our health. And this is pre-pandemic. So that was one trend that I saw as a mega trend, like global trend. The other mega trend, which is almost even bigger, is to start to understand reality as waveform rather than just particle, as wave over matter, like, or both. And we see development in that in light therapy, as ultrasound therapies, a lot of things that are using waveform and different types of sonic resonance and things like that. So both those elements existed in what Stefan was exploring in his clinic, which is very well known, biggest integrated healthcare clinic at the time in the UK. And so I took an advisory role and got really fascinated. But it was really when I saw the uptake and the continuous usage with a sort of mass market population that I thought, okay, this is a black swan situation. Like, I've never seen this level of adoption. So then I went on to take a board director role and finally co-found the company after having worked with Stefan for several months. And since then, I've really been building the team and the company globally. So, yeah.
And so what inspired that, transition from advising to actually stepping into, essentially an operating role, right? What was that?
Yeah, it was really like someone needs to get this product out there. It was really like, I see such an enormous unsolved problem on a global scale, which is stress, anxiety, and sleep. It's devastating our health, it's devastating our lives, right? And seeing now as well, we have so much clinical evidence that directly connects stress and anxiety to a lot of chronic disease, to obviously inflammation, but also cognitive decline, cardiovascular issues. And what I'd also seen is that a lot of amazing apps exist that I have endorsed and recommended, but unfortunately, they have abysmal retention. And so when I could see that this is the first product I've ever seen that has such incredible retention, I'm like, okay, this product needs to get out there. It's really needed by people. So it was very much like a mission-driven decision, but I've never looked back.
Sure. And what convinced you that, of all the things you mentioned are stressors in our environment that we're trying to solve for, why was vagus nerve toning, the one that you honed in on?
All right. So for all the listeners, what's vagal nerve toning?
Right.
Yeah. So, when it comes to, I think in Eastern medicine, the vagus nerve is so central, and it's becoming a lot more known, and especially in the longevity biohacker spheres, people typically know about the vagus nerve. And it has all these functions. The longest cranial nerve connects to all the organs and controls a lot of autonomic functions. And for the what we're talking about, stress and anxiety, it regulates and controls the stress response. And so good vagal nerve tone, in simple terms, is stress resilience. It means that we have a trigger, but we don't turn into a sympathetic state. And obviously that's where we suppress immune system, suppress digestive system, disconnect or suppress connection to prefrontal cortex. Like all the negative things that happen in the body happens when the vagus nerve switches into stressed states. And so if we can avoid that, then we have all the health benefits. So it is really the center of stress management and stress resilience.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely. And when you think about, just even the last few years, what we've been through with a pandemic, sort of all of the disruptions, going out there in the world, wars, et cetera.
Yeah.
How were you able to adapt across, over the last few years, adapt and change and grow?
Yeah, it hasn't been the easiest years, right? Yeah, I think, I guess we all have different gifts. I think I tend to be quite flexible, and the team has also shown a huge resilience and flexibility, and constantly finding ways out, constantly finding new ways, and dealing with challenges ahead. So it's definitely been a team effort, but I also think that it's like a filter on your glasses, right? To see opportunities or to see problems. And challenges are guaranteed in life, and challenges are certainly guaranteed on a startup journey.
Right.
So, it's just, I think, the strength of the team is really the ability to navigate through difficult times, to navigate around challenges and turn challenges into opportunities, etc. I think is really what defines success over time. But yeah, it's been intense.
Yeah, it's been an interesting last 5 years.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself, or rather you as a leader? What are your guideposts when it comes to sort of values, and what are the goalposts that you're shooting for, if you will?
Oh, interesting. So I found that my style, I read the book Reinventing Organizations, and I'm like, oh, wow, there are other people thinking like me, like a while ago. So that was kind of inspiring just to see that there are many people going in that direction, which for me, with my mathematical background, a hierarchical system is a lot less intelligent than an interconnected system, right? And yes, it gives you more control if that's the way you are.
What you want, yeah.
And for me, I think very much like I really prefer systems that are interconnected with distributed authority. I think it's more motivating for the team. And, just from the intelligence of a system, you remove one node in an interconnected system, it's not a lot of difference, right? If you remove a node in a hierarchical system, you lose a whole tree. So to really have, collaboration over competition internally, certainly we really have, like, it is one of our values. But I think that probably characterizes me, which is really ideas can come from any level in the organization. We really encourage collaboration, openness, transparency. We're not like a secret services organization, so we have the ability to do that even with contractors, and so I would say the characteristics are around collaboration and transparency.
Yeah. I think that's, that seeing things as a system and interconnected, to your points. I think it's absolutely something that's, I think, defined my own style as a leader, that we, not I, that, the team, not silo. And like you say, I think, that flatter sense of community when it comes to thinking and great ideas, right? Yeah. I love that. And when you think about, switching back to the actual, Sensate and product for a second, I think you all have reported that over 90% of your users find it that it's actually more effective to use your device than actually meditating, taking medications, or even dietary changes, right? That's huge when you're getting that kind of result from a wearable, forgive me, wellness technology device. What makes it so sticky? What is, and I guess I'd just love to know, like, how are you getting those kind of results? I mean, that's pretty impressive. 90% of your users reported that.
More or same. Yeah. So I think I also find it kind of magic. Like, that it blew me away. Like, that's literally why I'm doing this, because I had never seen a product that had this impact. I've seen a lot of great innovation, and it only has uptake in that kind of beachhead population that are highly motivated anyway. And that was a lot of my product philosophy, actually, that the idea of finding a beachhead and then that rolling out to the rest of the population in many cases does not work, because fundamentally the drivers for the beachhead audience is completely different to the mass market. And if you're going to work with a mass market product, you need to love the mass market with the short attention span, with the need for instant gratification, with all these kind of things that we call the dumb masses. No, these are us. These are human beings struggling in our little lives, and I deeply care about that. So I think what happens is, like, first, how does the product work? You put a little pebble device on the sternum, on the chest, and you put on headphones, and you hear sound therapy, and you actually physically feel the infrasonic waves in the chest area. Now, what we're trying to emulate here is the inbuilt technology of omming. So in yoga, if we actually practice to get the vibration into our chest, we do this to tone the vagus nerve. So I first learned this in a yoga class, that actually omming, why we do it is not because it sounds good, is actually to tone the vagus nerve. Sure. And so obviously this is something that is, you can do a lot of other things to tone the vagus nerve. So I think what's important and why Sensate is working so well right now is that people need a little bit of support. And I recommend to everyone to learn to meditate. point is, and the reason why I, for example, use the product myself, although I'm a meditator, is that, for example, if I have a really long work day and I have a very short amount of time to take a break,
right,
and I have a lot of thoughts in my head, I may not get into a meditative state in that time. It actually requires a fair amount of practice to be able to drop into a nervous system level recharge state in a short period of time. The practice of meditation still has a lot of benefits. Always practice meditation.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not taking that away. Exactly. It's not a substitute.
Right.
However,
yeah.
The product helps and seems to help so many people to kind of, the noise goes into the background and it just taps into that internal system and calms the nervous system. There are many aspects that I really like about the product. I have also studied the nervous system because I'm a certified breathwork practitioner just for fun.
Right.
And it's I love breathwork. It's something I practice a lot myself as well. But it's also the fact that it's a short-term benefit that people actually feel relaxed in the moment, which we also are seeing in our research, both in terms of biomarkers, significant improvement from the very first session, and also subjective well-being, which is very important. So if you don't have the subjective improvement from the first time, again, back to the mass market, people don't do it again. And that's why, unfortunately, the people who really need meditation, for them it's the hardest, because it doesn't feel good to sit still and focus on your rushing thoughts and you might not feel good in your body. Parade. And exactly, right? It's hard.
It is.
And so if we can be the gateway drug to meditation, amazing. But for right now, I think there's such an enormous percentage of the population that needs an easy way to regulate the nervous system. And also for the executive athlete, I know for myself, it's easy for me to work 12 hours, but I need to preventatively make sure that I regulate my nervous system. So it's an incredible tool for me, although I'm not really like the target audience as much as people are very stressed and anxious and struggle with sleep, which is the vast majority of our users. But it's so important for all of us to have one way, whatever it is, if it's Sensate, if it's meditation, if it's breathwork, if it's umming, whatever it is, to actually regulate the nervous system, both if we feel activated, but also just regularly through the day, and look after that nervous system health. So, and then I think there is something where maybe it's like intuitive, because I do find it fascinating how well the product works, and that this is some intelligence that exists in the body, and we're just going to learn more and more about how this works.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love what you said about the mass market and having compassion for so many of us that are struggling with competing objectives, multiple priorities, trying to balance all the things and keeping all the balls in the air. Like you say, gateway drug. If it's a step, it's a small thing that someone can do that has a big result. I think so many times when we talk about change or health or wellness, people feel that they have to boil the ocean, as opposed to saying like, okay, wait a minute. What's a thing that I can do, that I can commit to, that I know that I'm going to get a result from? And like you say, then it starts you on the journey, and then it sort of, it kind of rolls from there. Yeah. So I love that. I think that's
Ripple
amazing. Yeah. And so in terms of how your techniques or your daily practices and routines sort of mirror, when you think of biohackers that you look up to or you respect, what are some of the things that you do regularly? I know you mentioned meditation. I'm a huge fan myself, but tell me a little bit about your protocols and what are the things that you've institutionalized for yourself that are foundational for you staying balanced and regulated and healthy?
Thank you. So I'm a huge, first, I would say the first one is sleep. I don't compromise my sleep. It is my superpower. I sleep well, then I have incredible productivity and energy, and my brain works really well, and I come up with ideas and all of that. So if I go several nights without good sleep, I will notice my productivity reducing, but also impact on mood and all these other things. I'm also actually say like I'm almost grateful that I was sick for a few years with an undetected gluten allergy, which broke down my gut and caused all sorts of other health issues, because it actually forced me to change lifestyle, and it forced me to really get in tune with my body. So I have this like real awareness of what my body wants now, which I'm very grateful for actually. And I'm also very grateful for functional medicine. Like I was blown away the first time I came across functional medicine.
Copy that.
Yeah. I'm so grateful to my doctor, Dr. Mouton, who helped me back in the day. And I didn't know we had this level of knowledge on the planet. And now, I think actually Function Health, Mark Hyman's product is great. So doing some kind of preventative testing, especially when we get over a certain age, to make sure that our biomarkers and levels are in somewhere in the region, we can really detect things before they become a problem. Definitely nervous system regulation. So I do use Sensate, meditate, and I do breath work, but actually more activating breath works than relaxing breath work. So it's a tool that I use sometimes if I tangle myself up in thoughts. Then I can do a long, really profound breathwork session. And however it works, I think it opens the connections between the brain halves of something, because I get much bigger vision and insight and things like that when I do those kind of sessions. So I think those are my core tools. Yeah,
absolutely. And what about, or are there rather, any supplements or other wearable technology that you utilize to keep you on point?
Yeah, well, I have an Apple Watch and I have an Oura Ring, which I've had, I've actually been an Oura customer since 2018 or 19.
Me too, 2017.
Yeah. Oh, wow, you're
but
before
I just changed mine literally 4 months ago because my old one finally kicked out. Pretty good though, right?
Yeah. No, and to be honest, that form factor, they deserve the success. I think I saw yesterday they're valued like 11 billion now, and they deserve it. It's a great product, a great service, a great form factor, good quality product, and so it has definitely improved my sleep quality and my boyfriend's sleep quality,
right.
Which means my sleep quality.
Right. Well, know, Whoop is coming after them. Have you heard about Whoop's newest device that was just released in the last month?
No, I'm actually going to, that's one that I want to test as well. So,
I'm going to ask you about Sensate and the interface with apps too. We'll get there. But anyway, keep going. Sorry.
It's coming.
Yeah.
And then, so supplements really actually is a direct consequence of those tests. So I don't believe in just randomly taking tons of supplements. I don't mind doing therapeutic doses sometimes. I do often do actually check with functional medicine doctors. I know an amazing women's health functional medicine doctor in LA called Kathy Haas. And so then I get okay, this is what you need right now. So I don't there's certain things like magnesium. I always take magnesium.
Sure. We all need to always
we all need
take
it. And some kind of B complex. There's certain things. But otherwise, I don't believe in taking the same supplements all the time. I tend to look at what I need and my levels, and also actually change brands.
Yeah. I think it's so smart. And, I've been on this journey for 17 years now, biohacking, if you will, and sort of health and wellness. And I'm a huge believer in testing. It's, looking under the hood and really understanding, like you say, taking a shotgun approach to our health when we are all very bio-individual. 100%. I think it's very important for us to look at what we need, right? And that changes over time, to your point, right? So no, I think that's a great call out. And the functional medicine as well, right? And also functional health, Dr. Mark Hyman's work there. I think it's such a great entry point for anyone who's curious about their health and wellness and where they stand in terms of their nutrition and health profile. It creates a really easy access for folks. So I think that's great. And so I was going to pull on the thread a little bit in terms of, the interface of Sensate, but it sounds like you were saying it's coming. Is that right?
Yeah.
Where we're going to be able to measure sort of that, tighten the biofeedback loop there?
Yeah. So here's what's interesting. It's actually pretty much only the biohacker community which that are asking for the biofeedback. And why? This is very interesting from a product perspective, because the product works. So people with actual real anxiety and stress and sleep issues don't need evidence. So it's a little bit like an ibuprofen. No one asks, can I see that the ibuprofen works? No, you know that the ibuprofen works. Whereas when you're using Sensate preventatively, it's a very subtle experience. You know, it's not like for me now I can measure it after when I've been using it for 3 years, I drop straight into deep relaxation. So as soon as I lie down, start to Sensate, like out of a 10-minute session, I get like 8 minutes deep rest. So, you know, it works really well. And it used to be only like 3 minutes out of the Sensate session. So it trains the nervous system quite fast.
Amazing.
But still, it's like, you know, it's kind of subtle because you were okay. And then afterwards, you're just a little bit more relaxed, right? Whereas if you are really stressed or really anxious, and then now you got over that, it's life-saving for a lot of people. It's really been a huge change in their lives when they haven't found any other way to self-regulate. And the crazy thing is, I think it's 76% of American adults report chronic stress.
Not surprised.
So
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's why there is just epidemic levels of everything from diabetes and heart disease, and it's all
many
comes down to
factors, but
stress.
yes,
Yes, absolutely. And that's what you're solving for, which is incredible. And with my business hat on, I want to ask, you know, you've blended at Sensate, you know, that sort of traditional VC investment with crowdfunding, et cetera, kind of democratizing ownership in a way. And I'd love to know what advantages that's given you in terms of what you've been able to do from a branding perspective, you know, from a customer, a community perspective, et cetera.
Yeah. So we are definitely highly commercially driven, but we are an impact company. Yeah. And so the commercial success means that we can have a bigger positive impact. And so I think everyone in the team deeply cares about the impact we're having in people's lives. And so then the crowdfunding allows our customers to also be shareholders. So that has been amazing. And also, I think from that perspective, it was really aligned with our values and sharing the success. And then from a business perspective, I think there are many consumer products that are positive impact that people understand the needs of, that are actually quite suitable for crowdfunding, because it's sort of a combination of a fundraise and a marketing campaign. So you do get a lot of visibility. It is a bunch of extra work for sure. For us, it's been a really positive vibe thing to do. I think everyone's really enjoyed it in the team, and you know, you get a whole bunch of small investors that invest because they deeply care about the problem you're solving, care about the product, both new investors that become customers and customers that become investors. So, and our VCs have really seen the benefit to the company and really welcomed and supported, you know, the crowdfunding investments as well.
Yeah, no, it's genius. And I guess, you know, when you think about the culture or morale of the culture that you've created amongst the employees, how would you describe that? Because I mean, is it like literally the happiest place on earth? Sorry, Disneyland. But I mean, it's gotta be like, does everyone how do you get anything done?
Yeah.
Everyone's walking around really calm. This is spoken as like a very corporate citizen here from my entire career. So I'd love to know.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to pretend here. Like, we're a wellness company working with a product to relax the world. And at the same time, there's a paradox of running an early stage tech company with a lot of constraints and, you know, often being under-resourced. And, you know, it's a lot of challenges. We also are pioneering in our field. So, you know, to find the right investors that really see the opportunity, that understand how great the opportunity is, understand the product and why it works so well, and aren't too afraid to invest in something that doesn't look like something they've seen before, etc. So, I think there are two aspects of culture. One is the core culture of the company, but then there is also a stage culture, and startup is not for everyone. It really isn't a time for someone who doesn't have much stress resiliency and they're at the stage of their life where they want like clear work-life balance. It is a passion job. You know, sometimes all of us work many hours, and I think I could never work this many hours if it wasn't that I knew I was changing lives every day. Someone is using our product on average every 12 seconds. So every 12 seconds, there's a little bit more peace and calm in the world. And therefore I can work 12, 14 hours, probably not forever, but like the
Right.
energy I get out of the mission and the purpose is enormous, and obviously also the opportunity. We do start our all hands and board meetings with a short meditation and grounding. We talk very openly about a lot of the personal development topics. I think, I'm very invested in that myself, so it's very easy for me to bring those topics and be very transparent and open about my own work. So we try to explore how to work together and have our professional and personal growth be core of the culture. And then, as the company and the team grows, there's obviously changes in culture as the team grows, for sure.
Yeah, I could see that. I can just imagine your hiring protocol. You're asking people to bring in their HRV, scores so that you can see how they respond, with the right amount of resilience to hire them. I'm kidding. I'm sure your HR is cringing right now. You've also said that Sensate is aiming to reach 100 million users by 2025, right? And I'm curious more, as an executive with a company who's clearly been integral to the trajectory that you've seen thus far, how do you balance that desire for growth with scientific integrity, user trust, and investing in the right ways, in the right things. How does all of that come into balance? That appetite for, vision, but also managing risk to some degree.
Yeah. Well, I think we're 100 million people by 28.
Oh, sorry.
But no,
100 million users.
Well,
sorry,
and
people.
Why? But it makes
humans.
sense to say users. But actually, we're talking about like how do we? Because we are also having an impact in like parent buy it for their young adult. So it's just like we're meeting more people than just the person that purchases device. And then obviously over time we're also reaching people through the brand and through collaborations and partnerships that we're doing right now, and through multiple products that we have on the roadmap. I would have loved to be further ahead. It's all down to capital. I'm not the person holding back the pace, and that is the thing with early stage. You have to be brutal in prioritizing. If we would have spent time on developing multiple products, we wouldn't be around. So get one product right. We happen to have a product that works extremely well, and then proving the traction with that product. And like if I look at the app, it's like complete transparency, not really on brand. We're going to fix that this year, and that's okay. Those are the compromises. Like you can't be a perfectionist when you're early stage, because people aren't buying the app for that reason. They're buying the device because they're stressed and anxious. Okay, so the priority is make sure that the product works. That it's very easy and quick to start the session, because people wake up in the middle of the night feeling really anxious. They grab the device. So it's different priorities, and I think that's where just understanding the user extremely well and prioritizing based on that. And then a lot of things have to be half done, and I think sometimes the, customers don't appreciate what a small team we are. And to have a customer success team that is extremely empathetic, because we're dealing with stressed and anxious people. They're not always nice to the team. And I'm like, listen, you might be the only person they're speaking with this week. You have no idea what's going on in their lives. So just have a culture as well where we're really empathetic of our customers. And even like, when a customer is like stalked me on like some social media, and it doesn't upset me. I'm like, poor person. Like we've literally sent him multiple emails that his his replacement product is on the way, and he's just stressed. And so I think. And each individual is an individual. And I think that also very important when you work with consumer, you can't say them. It's like each unique person with their drama and whatever is going on in their life. So then making priorities based on understanding the needs of our customers, balancing with milestones for the next funding round. And, that's the early stage game.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, I have to ask this question, but as a woman founder, and oftentimes what I'm assuming is one of the only females in a tech room. What advice would you give to other women that are founders in the tech space? I mean, have you learned anything along the way?
Well, I do hope that things are changing a little bit. Like I started out over 20 years ago, and in like mobile back-end carrier infrastructure type of thing. So it's very technical, and I was definitely the only woman. And I think that there was definitely a scenario where I was assumed not to know, whereas my male peers were assumed to know, and that makes all the difference. And it did definitely give a steer to my career. And I have no regrets. We are where we are in human evolution. Again, it's just interesting, right?
Right.
So I do think that things are changing a lot, and ultimately, it's when we zoom out. Like, what are we here for? Like, I'm not here to be comfortable. Like, yes, I would probably be richer now if I'd been a gold digger, honestly. But then I'm here as a soul to grow and to make a positive difference in the world and to learn things and to change things. And I know a lot of the teams that I've built have been more diverse in every possible way and have made differences in people's lives. And I didn't necessarily chose the easiest ways, but that's where, I think going for what we're passionate about, nothing else matters, Then there are some challenges, definitely get a mentor. I think those things matter. Don't internalize everything, and don't assume that other people aren't afraid. Do it anyway. Because I think sometimes I couldn't do that. I'm not confident. No one is. Just do it anyway.
Yeah.
So and also we're not supposed to be comfortable in life. It isn't comfortable to challenge yourself. It isn't comfortable to grow. It isn't comfortable to run a startup, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We grow. Yeah.
I love what you're saying about leaning in to what is uncomfortable, because there's usually a gift there. It is, the path to the other side, if you will, and I love what you said about, getting a mentor. I think that's huge. And then also the not taking it personally, right? Like you say, we can choose to be offended, we can choose to be upset, or we can choose to go, stay curious about it, ask more questions, and move through it and keep our eye on the ball, right?
Yeah.
No, I love that. And when you think about the next 5 years, of wellness technology and wearables, et cetera, what is really exciting to you?
It is such an exciting time. Okay, so where do I start? First trend that I love right now is the shift, which you mentioned, towards precision health. And no one that has general advice on exercise or nutrition should be believed, trusted, right? It is totally individual. We're in a unique ecosystem. And so I love the trend towards much more precision health and personalized advice. And that ties into then the ability to do that with the proliferation of AI tools and really valuable AI tools, together with all the tracking and all of that. So huge opportunities for personalization. Then I think there is also going to be more of the aggregation across different things. So we're starting to
from your lips to God's ears, because I've been whining about it for 13 years. Like, who can take all my data across all the wearables and tell me what's up about me, right? And there are a couple of companies doing this. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Heads Up Health is doing it, right? And there's a couple of others, but keep going. I'm just passionate about aggregation.
100%.
I might come on, because right now I use ChatGPT, who I call Sage, by the way. She's very wise, but ChatGPT is probably not the right answer for all my data. Anyway, please.
Yeah,
continue.
no,
Sorry.
but it's something.
It is something.
It's something.
Yes.
But yes, and also everything is interconnected.
Yes.
And so, our gut produces hormones that affects our mood, that, this just everything is interconnected. And we cannot continue with healthcare that looks at the body as isolated parts with isolated individuals looking after it. So, that ability to use data across a very wide range of health metrics and health matters and analyze that is phenomenal. And that is very compute heavy, which is why it's possible now with the AI models. So having all of these trends at the same time, both the advances in our knowledge, in longevity, which is going super fast, the research, our understanding there, together with the tools that then can process that data from a lot of different areas. It would be very difficult to have 20 PhDs, right, and combine everything. But now we have tools that can do that. So
they can take your CGM, DNA, all of your everything, and give you a real time,
tests
in real time right now. am I low on electrolytes? Can someone tell me? Right? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I want for this so much. I'm
no,
with you. Keep
100%,
going.
100%. And then I think, there's also just the whole aspect. I think we're also going to see actually just on the business side some interesting consolidations over time, because at the moment it's like this wearable is doing sleep, this wearable is doing gut health, and this like exactly. So I think we're going to see some companies that start to kind of combine the tools and actually provide something more holistic. So that's going to be interesting as well, just on the sort of M&A level.
Lot of movement in the market. And, a lot of acquisitions and mergers,
exactly.
etc. Yeah,
over the years. But then again, like our field is getting also so fascinating. I came across NextStride, and so what that is. So my granddad had Parkinson. And this is a walking stick that is using sound signals and light signals and has a 40% reduction in falls.
Wow.
It's incredible.
Wow.
So these type of things, because no medication, no surgery, are phenomenal. And what I thought was fascinating as well, Sydney Collins, as one of the founders, amazing, a very, very smart woman, she mentioned that actually originally they used music and that had even higher performance, but there are obviously some social implications of having a musical walking stick. Right. Just kind of awkward, right? So, so I think in the area that we're in with infrasonic waves and sound and music and sound waves and all of that. And also, obviously, we have electrical vagal nerve stimulation and different type of light signals. It's just going to explode and very, very fascinating.
Yeah, my next question was going to be around what emerging neuroscience and sort of somacoustic innovations are really exciting you the most. And it sounds like, that one is a great example. The walking stick. Are there other, cool?
Yeah, I think we have a lot in relation as well to Alzheimer and dementia. There's also research in ultrasound. And like that includes both, improvement when it comes to things like dementia and Alzheimer's, but also even I think it's I wonder if it was like. I'm not going to quote your university because I forgot which one it was. One of the top universities, a study just showing that heart cells actually organize in a beautiful pattern with harmonized sound waves. And if we think of, like, again, with the physics background, right, like music that we listen to are harmonized sound waves. If sound waves are not in harmony, it doesn't sound good. And so, there's something there. And I think music has some incredible powers that is worthy of understanding, like, why is that? Maybe we should learn a little more about this. So the combination of using music and infrasonic waves is I think the combination is powerful. The one part that we have not researched is why it would be better to have harmonized frequencies through the ear and the chest. But like, that makes total sense to me, even just from a physics perspective, right?
Sure.
So there's a lot of interesting research, mainly at this point, in that field as well. That's going to be fascinating to follow.
Interesting. Wow. And you're right at the fringe of it, right at the cutting edge of it, which is so exciting. So what have I not asked you yet that I should have asked you? Or are there some other, notable things that you'd like to share that maybe we haven't covered yet?
Well, I think for this podcast specifically, stress resiliency and leadership is so incredibly important. If we look at everyone in a senior leadership role are going to have situations with high pressure. And if we look at the leaders that, from the past that have been able to stay calm, take a breath, ask the right questions, not pull the trigger, too early.
Right.
And so I think it's so important for anyone, both when there is high pressure and we might love our careers and love our job, we can still burn out. So just the ability to find a way to regulate the nervous system on a daily basis is fundamental. But then also understanding a strong vagal nerve tone leads directly to better leadership. As soon as we activate the stress response, we weaken the connection to the prefrontal cortex, which is our executive mind. So it's really directly impacts the performance of and the level of our decision-making power. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a shameless plug, but my book that comes out in 2026.
Can't wait.
Thank you. It's all about when we optimize our health, it's the biggest competitive advantage we have. It transforms our results. We become not only better leaders, to your point, but better humans, better colleagues, better partners, better parents. It all comes downstream from that, We do everything to maximize our ROI in all things except our own operating systems. And to your point, and with Sensate's help, when you get to reset that, great things come downstream from it, right? And like you say, that the vagus, the whole vagus nerve, that's just baseline, right? That's so fundamental. So, I applaud everything you're doing, and I think it's so interesting and amazing. So, if people want to get familiar with Sensate, i.e., pick up a device, where should they go? And if they want to follow you and all the cool things that you're doing and how you all are innovating, tell us all the ways.
Yeah, so Sensate website is getsensate.com. That's GETSENSATE.com. On social media, we're MySensate, so MySENSATE. And I'm mainly active on LinkedIn, so you can follow me on LinkedIn at Anna Gudmundson, and then also Sensate on LinkedIn as well.
My Sensate and Get Sensate.
Yeah, Get Sensate is a website, and my Sensate is a social handle. Yeah.
I love it. Well, it's just applause to all that you're doing. I think it's incredible, and it's so, and it's just amazing that you founded it, built it, grown it, obviously with a great team, of course, but it's something you must feel, it just must be, such a great feeling. So kudos to you for that. And thank you so much for being willing to hang out and share all of the wonderful insights that you have. I appreciate you.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to read your book.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.